Welcome back. You're listening to Aging with Power on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm your host, Myles McNamara, and we are speaking with Candy Watson, a reverse mortgage consultant, talking about the option of a reverse mortgage for our seniors, having to be anybody on the deed 62 years of age or older. And we were talking about before the break, Candy, that it's really a standard loan with closing costs, with all those things that we know to exist with the loan. However, biggest difference is that there is, should you choose in your structure, there's no monthly payment as in a home equity loan or a regular standard mortgage.
Correct.
We were talking at the break, before the break actually, about some of the bad stuff and things that have been corrected to make reverse mortgages a more viable option. But now let's highlight the good stuff about it. We talked about no monthly payment, and the cost involved is what you said is MIP, which is mortgage insurance. Well, you've got the mortgage insurance
premium, and that's the insurance.
Right. And tell us how that benefits our senior and protects them should the house lose its value through this course.
Right, that protects. It has to be. It's just put on there. That's just the way that works. They pay that premium. It's a yearly rate, and it is accumulated every month. You get a statement every month. You accrued interest on the loan that you owe, the money you owe, and then accrued MIP, which is the insurance. That is added to your balance every month. And any other draws you might take, from depending on your situation. But that insurance protects the negativity that when the loan has to be paid off, which is when the senior no longer lives in the property for whatever reason, and that's the last surviving on title of the reverse mortgage, that the loan becomes due and payable. Now, we don't know what the market's going to go. We don't know what the house value is going to be at that time. And we don't know how much they're going to owe on their mortgage at that time. So if there's a negative, if they're underwater, like they say, or they owe more on the mortgage than the house is worth, then that mortgage insurance is the FHA insurance, it's coming in and paying that deficit. It's a non-recourse loan. So that means they're not responsible. Nobody's responsible for that deficit. And that's why it's in place.
Right.
It's very, very important.
I think that's a huge thing that bears even, let's repeat it and elaborate. So again, folks, to understand it, and I'm getting my head around it as well, we all know the roller coaster of our real estate industry. And so if you take a reverse mortgage, and this is what's different too, right, Candy, with them a standard lien, is if for whatever reason your house loses its value in this roller coaster market, when the loan becomes payable, if you're underwater, upside down, whatever term we want to use, the mortgage insurance protects you from having to come up with the difference.
It protects the heirs.
Right.
It protects their estate.
Right.
We're having to come from that deficit, yes.
And we hear that a lot too about, well, it's, you own my house, or
you don't.
What happens when mom dies, you get my house. It's just a matter of paying off all the creditors like any standard loan.
I just tell them when I meet them, tell you, whoever you want to tell, when you do pass away, where the last monthly statement is. Have them look how much you owe on your mortgage, get a good realtor out there, gives you a value of the property, and then assess your equity and see what you want to do at that time.
So we can't hold you to these figures. No. I know, but there is a
things do change all the time.
So let's say a senior owns his home or her home outright, and now they want some cash for in-home care or any other trips and whatever. Was it like a 30% ratio they could take out of the house?
Usually, and it does, like I said, I get hold to that because things do change in the mortgage world. But let's say somebody's 62, they can get over a little over 50% of their equity.
Okay, so if someone owns $1 million home,
but as they get older, they can get more of the equity because their life expectancy short. So they go on that actual.
Okay, so the younger you are, the less you can get out. Yeah, the older you are, the more you can get out. So someone with $1 million home, which isn't hard to do here in Southern California. And they own it outright because they've had it since we had wagons, and now they can want to take a $500,000 out, put it in whatever.
Well, they can't do that. We have a maximum lending limit of $625,500. So
what does that mean?
Even if their house is worth $1 million or $2 million, the quote's going to be based on $625,500.
I don't understand what that.
That means, let's say if your house was worth $500,000, the quote's going to be on $500,000.
Okay.
On what your value of your property is.
Right.
Maximum lending limit. FHA puts a maximum lending limit.
Okay.
It's just the rules. It used to be higher. It used to be lower. It's gone up gone up through the years. Now, at this point in time, 625,500. So if your house is worth 600, it's going to be based on 600. So
Okay.
600, a little bit more than 50%, you've got that.
But bottom line, a reverse mortgage is a
Yes.
viable option that our seniors should
Yes.
not be scared of, and
No.
we can't cover everything in one show, obviously.
No.
So again, folks, we're going to give you some contact information on Candy if you have additional questions regarding a reverse mortgage. That's why the word consultant comes after her name.
I'm an educator. That's the first step,
Right.
educating the senior.
And the adult children.
And the adult children.
That's probably needs
Oh my
more
gosh,
so.
yes. I always invite anybody they'd like to
Right.
have at the table. We sit at their dining room table a long time, 2
Right.
hours, 2.5, sometimes 3, just going over it, answering all their questions. But it's a it can be a difficult situation.
And if we do have more
so.
questions, how can our
Yeah.
listeners get a hold of you, Candy?
My phone number is 661-877-1317.
And if you didn't have a pen, folks, don't worry. We are available on podcast on hometownstation.com. If you've missed any part of the show, we'll have some closing remarks from Candy at the end of the show. But again, Candy Watson, reverse mortgage consultant, 661-877-1317. Candy, thank you
You're
to
welcome.
shedding some light on this scary
That's what
monster
I
of the
really
past.
believe in. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for quite some time, and I really feel it's an option that seniors should to be educated on. Whether they pick it or not,
Right.
it's up to them, and it's
Knowledge
always
is
up to
power.
them. There's no pressure.
Knowledge
Definitely.
is power.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we're taking our next break. When we come back, we are shifting gears into the world of home health and palliative care with my other guest, Mr. Saul Nunez of Los Robles Home Care Services. And we'll talk about, because it's in your title, Saul, the difference between home care and home health, because I know you don't do home care. All right, don't go away. We'll be right back on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Welcome back to Aging with Power. I'm Myles McNamara on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And we are talking to, or about to talk to, Mr. Saul Nunez of Los Robles Home Care Services. And we'll be talking about the differences of home care, home health, palliative care. But anyway, Saul, not to steal your thunder, welcome to Aging with Power.
Thank you, Myles. Appreciate it.
Sitting over there nice and quiet, learning about reverse mortgages with the rest of us. But I know Los Robles has been around for a long time. I know Molly and her. I have not had the pleasure of meeting her mom, but I know you guys are a family-owned business. Tell us a little bit about Los Robles and the world of home health.
Well, Los Robles Home Care Services is a home health company that's been around for 16 years, as you mentioned. We are family owned and operated, and we strictly provide skilled services. Those include skilled nursing, occupational, physical, speech therapy, home health aides, IV infusion therapy. Our service area runs from Ventura County in the Ojai area, extends out to Van Nuys, the San Fernando Valley area, and then up into, of course, the beautiful Santa Clarita Valley.
Right. And you guys have had a presence out here for some time now.
Yes, we have. It's been about 4 years now that we've been up here.
Okay. Well, I've had the pleasure of working with you guys and some of your nurses and such, and I don't want to tell you the differences of home care and home health, but I know you and I work really well in conjunction. What is the difference between home health and home care?
Well, home health is basically medically related or skilled, right? It's also covered by insurance. In your world, it's all private pay.
Unless
you
they have long-term care.
Insurance.
Right.
But those are the main differences. So as I mentioned, the components that we offer, those are a big part of it. And those are things that we do really well. But we're also bigger than that. We're also very much community-based. So we have larger programs in place as well.
Now, home health, you have to have that prescribed by a doctor. You
Yes.
can't just call Los Robles and say, send me a nurse.
Right.
How does that process
There
work?
are basically three main components that qualify a patient to be on home health. One, as you mentioned, is that they have to be under the care of a physician. Two is they have to have a skilled need. And third, they have to be homebound. And homebound means that their ability to leave their residence is impacted by illness or injury. So they have a tough time doing that.
And if someone is homebound and they're not under the care, well, usually they'll always be under the care of a physician. And this is where it comes in handy with me as far as utilizing home health is a lot of families aren't aware that they can call a doctor and say, hey, I'd like to have a nurse. I can't get mom to the doctor, but I'd love to have a nurse come out and evaluate my mom.
Absolutely. That's something we can do. Again, it has to be ordered by a physician, but we can go out and do an assessment and go back to the physician and say, hey, here's what's going on with this patient. Would you like us to continue further, care for the patient?
And then through your evaluation, then you could also bring in things like occupational therapy or physical therapy or anything else that the senior or whoever's ill in the home that they could use.
Absolutely. It just depends on the level of care that they need and exactly what services are needed.
And most always when someone's discharged from the hospital, they're going to have some sort of home health follow-up care when they first come for the transition to home.
Typically for post-surgery, or if they have an exacerbation of their existing illness, those are typical cases that we go out and see.
And what about insurance coverages? I mean, you accept all aspects of coverages?
We do, Medicare and private insurance as well. I think the best thing to do is to go on our website and you can see the list of the insurances that we're contracted with. But for the most part, we take all major insurances.
One thing that I don't think our families understand is that it's their choice. I mean, a lot of times the doctors or the physicians will say, okay, you need some home health, let me write you a script.
Sure.
But they don't have to use, I mean, doctors a lot of times make good choices, obviously.
Absolutely.
But talk to me a little bit about the family's choice or the patient's choice of choosing home health.
Yeah, so as an example, if a patient's at the hospital and they require, the physician deems it necessary that they require home health, they can choose a company that they're familiar with or that they've heard good things about. They can ask the physician to allow them to go with that company.
So just to clarify, if the doctor says, yeah, you need some help in the home, we're going to prescribe ABC company to come on in, the patient absolutely has the right to say, well, we have a relationship with Los Robles. Could you please write the order for them?
They absolutely can do that, yes.
And that's huge to talk about. And then you guys also offer a lot of different programs that we'll talk about after our next break. And one of the things I think is most misunderstood is palliative care. It's hard to say. Palliative care versus hospice. So we're going to run away for our break, but when we come back, I'd like to know what qualifies someone for palliative care, what's the difference of palliative care, and what sets Los Robles apart with that kind of a program.
Excellent.
So that's our plan, folks. You can hold me to it. We're going to take our next break. You are listening to Aging with Power. I'm still Myles McNamara on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.